Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Let's solve this difficult equation because we have very big coefficients. We have 70, 297, 420, 198. So in a question like this, what should we do? We use rational root theorem. Rational root theorem. Rational root theorem. We use rational root theorem. So what does it say? Rational root theorem. It says a factor equals rational root theorem. A factor of the last term. A factor of the last term divided by a factor of the first term. So one factor divided by one factor, but remember for the last term, which is 198, and the first term, which is 70, we have so many factors. So out of these factors for 198, which equals 198, because 1 times 198 equals 198, and 299, because 2 times 99 equals 298, and 11 and 18, because 11 times 18 equals 198, and 3 and 66, because 3 times 66 equals 198. And what are the factors for the first term, which is 70? This is the first term, 70. So we have 170, because 1 times 70 equals 70. 235, because 2 times 35 equals 70. 7 and 10, because 7 times 10 equals 70. So these are the possible factors of the last term divided by the first term. But these have to be, for each number, have to be plus or minus for each factor. So remember, we said a factor of the last term divided a factor of the first term. So out of all these factors and out of all these factors, one factor divided by one factor is a possible root of the equation. So how we work it out? So let's say 1 divided by 1, 19, 8, 198 divided by 70, or 1 divided by 70, 1 divided by 70, 1 divided by 2, 1 divided by 35, 1 divided by 35. So going on like this, for we have how many possible numbers we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 times 8, 48. We have 48 possible, but we remember we said plus or minus. We have 96 possible roots. Out of these 96 possible roots, only one of them works. What do you mean by works? One of the roots makes the equation equals 0. So that the rest of them do not make the equation equals 0. So we know after a long calculation, which is a very difficult long calculation, you have to try every single number like these. For example, 198 divided by 198 divided by 70, 198 divided by 2, 190 divided by 35. So we have to calculate all the numbers and all the fractions or integer, because remember, it could be an integer or it could be a fraction. Out of these, 2 over 3. No, 3 over 2. 3 over 2 is one of the root. So let's try if 3 over 2 over one of the root. 70, we have 70t cubed. So 70 t is 3 divided by 2 cubed minus 297, which is 297, divide 197 bracket 3 over 2 squared plus 420t. 420, you have t 3 over 2 minus 198. 198, we have 198. Let's say equals 0. So if we calculate all this, you can try using calculator or using your brain. You can use whichever you like to do the calculation. It gives you the whole equation, makes the whole equation 0, which is one of the root. So out of all these fractions, one of them was a root of the equation, 3 over 2. The rest of them do not work, do not make the equations, do not make the equation equals 0, only one root. So after that, what we have to do, we said 3 over 2, t equals 3 over 2 is one of the roots. So we multiply like this, we get 2t equals 3. Then we get 2t minus 3 is one of the root. So if we find one of the root, then we can divide using long division, divide the whole equation by one of the root. We will get a quadratic. Let's do it. Let's do a long division. We have 2t minus 3, then we have 70t cubed minus 297 t squared plus 420 t minus 198. So 70 cubed, we do a long division. 70 cubed divided by 2t, we will get 35 t squared. 35 t squared times 2t, we get 70 t cubed. So minus 35 t squared times 3, we get 105 t squared. So if we subtract this equation from this, we get 0 for this, and we get minus, this is gonna be a plus, so minus plus is gonna be minus, because this is bigger, minus 297 minus 105, we get 192 t squared, and we take down to 420 equals 420t. So what's the next number? So if we divide 192t squared by 2t, we get 96, which is a minus sign, minus 96. We have t, get t, because t squared divided by t, we get t. So 96 t times 2t, we get minus 192 t squared. 96t times 3, we get minus times minus, we get plus. 3 times 90 is 270, 288 t. 288t. So we take down, we subtract this equation from this, we get 0 for this, and we get a plus because 420 is bigger than 288, and we get 132 t. We take down 198 minus 198 minus 198, then 132t divided by 2t, we get plus. We have a plus sign here. We get plus 66. 66 times 2, we get 132t. 66 times 2t. 66 times 3, we get minus sign, because minus times plus is a minus sign, 198. So if we subtract the second equation from the first one, from this one I mean, so we get 0 for this one minus 0 for this one. So because we get 0 and 0 at the end of the equation, it's fully dividable. It means fully dividable. It means this equation divided by this equation is fully dividable. So that's why 2t minus 3 is one of the root. That's why we are sure now that 2t minus 3 is one of the root. So what we are going to do next, so we have 2t minus 3 bracket and bracket 35 t squared minus 96 t plus 66. So if we work out, we got a quadratic for the second equation. We got a quadratic. So if we work out the determinant for this quadratic to see if we have complex roots or real roots, so we have b squared minus 4ac. So we have b squared minus 4ac. So equals the determinant equals what b is 96 squared minus 4, a equals 35, a equals 35, c equals 66. So if you work out, we get a minus determinant, root of minus determinant, which makes this quadratic a complex with complex roots. So we are not interested in this because we are only interested in real roots at the moment. So we got the root 2t minus 3 equals 0, t equals 3 over 2. Thank you very much for your watching. This is the end of the answer. I hope you like the solution. Drop a comment for any question about rational root theorem and the factors and the long division. If you have any question, please do not be hesitated to ask any question. Thank you very much.